Hi! Within this lecture, we're going to see how we can use a tool called MSF Venom in order to create a backdoor for our Android devices. So the tool that we're going to use is called MSF Venom or MSF Venom, however you may want to pronounce it. Let me show you how to spell it. In order to do that, of course, you have to open your Kali Linux and you have to open your terminal and make sure you're ready to write some commands on your terminal. I believe you know how to install Kali Linux, how to run it, how to run your terminal by right now. If you have skipped the previous section, make sure you go back and watch that before coming here. So over here, we're going to use MSF Venom, and in order to do that, first of all, I'm going to type MSF Venom like this and hit enter in order to see the documentation of the MSF Venom. Of course, we're going to write a lot of parameters, but at this point you don't know any, so first of all I'm going to show you what are those. So we use this MSF Venom in order to create backdoors, in order to create some malicious files. And it all starts with payloads. So what are payloads? We use payloads, we use these tools in order to select what kind of operating system that we're going to hack in, and what kind of session do we expect back, and what kind of port and way that we should follow to hack in. So maybe you don't know these terms. Don't worry, I'm going to explain everything. As you can see, we can see the payload over here. It's actually -- payload or -p. We need to specify this payload, otherwise we won't get any backdoor created. And remember, MSF Venom is not only for creating backdoors for Android. We can create some backdoors like malicious files for Windows and other platforms as well. So we need to specify the platform, we need to specify the technology that we are going to use to hack into the target computer or target device. So I'm going to write it down first and I'm going to explain it part by part to you. And we're not going to finish creating our backdoor in this lecture, we're just getting familiarized with MSF Venom so that we can comprehend all of this stuff. So all you have to do just right now is to write MSF Venom -p like this. So MSF not C, MSF Venom -p, and then we specify the payload that we're going to be using for this. So you first start with the operating system. Like if you're going to do this for Windows, then you write Windows over here. If you're going to do this for Android, then you write Android over here. Okay? So in our case, of course, we're going to go with Android. And then you put a slash. And then you write the session that you want to expect to get back. I'm going to explain this a little bit later on in this lecture, but right now just write meterpreter. So it's either pronounced as meterpreter or meterpreter. It depends on the country that you live in, I believe. So I'm going to call this meterpreter, and it's spelled as METR, like this, PRETER, meterpreter. And then put a slash and then write reverse TCP, reverse _ TCP. Don't worry, I'm going to explain. So Android is the operating system that we're going to be attacking, right? And you know it. And meterpreter is the session. So this a session manages the connection between the target computer or target device and the Kali Linux or attacker device. So in this case, we're going to attack an Android phone, and when Android phone connects back to us, then meterpreter will create a session actually this payload will create a interpreter session in which we manage this session, in which we manage this connection, so that we can send some commands to the Android to be executed, like browsing the files or opening the camera of the phone or something like that. We do this with a session called interpreter. It's very advanced. It has a lot of commands built in so that you can interact with the hacked device. And then later on, we have this reverse TCP. This is the way that we are trying to hack into. Like, we could have written over here something like reverse TCP, reverse HTTP. So reverse means that connection will come from Android phone to us. It won't be coming from Kali Linux to the Android phone, because it will be much more detectable if we try to send the connection from here to this phone. But if we send the connection from Android phone to our Kali Linux, it will be much less detectable. Okay, and it is the actually it's the case for the Windows and other operating systems as well. We don't use bind, we use reverse connections when we try to create backdoors. So TCP is the port, is the gate that we are trying to go in. We could have used HTTP or HTTPS as well. In my trial and errors, I found out that reverse TCP is the way to go, so that I'm going with reverse TCP. If it doesn't work for you, you can just try to create something with reverse HTTP or HTTPS as well. So once we do that, we're going to specify a little bit more parameters within the couple of following lectures, and it will create a backdoor, a payload for us. Once we send this file to the target computer or target device, the Android actually in this case, once the user taps on this file, it will create a session between Kali Linux and Android phone, so that we can easily access all the files and folders and command system inside of those phones or those targets. So that's what we are trying to do within this section. So if you have understood it, then it's very good, because we're going to stop here and continue within the next lecture, where we discuss the rest of the parameters that we need to put in over here.